Hi guys, how you guys doing? There's this little timer thing here that's like shouting at you how much time I have left. All right, so I'm a writer, and I write, and this is totally my process. Like when I first saw that this was going to be the topic or the theme, you know, it sounds like, you know, research stuff, like real stuff, like building stuff, like engineering stuff. And I was like, how can I apply this to poetry? But that's exactly the same process I go through in pretty much everything that I do. So it was nice to kind of step back and rethink the way I look at the way I do my stuff. The work of a poet, as far as I can tell, is putting words to that feeling you have in your gut that is indescribable. And the reason you do that is so you can share it, so that somebody else can see these words or hear these words and convert it into that feeling into their stomach. Like that's the reason you put words to something. And it takes a lot of research to go back through your life and find the lessons that you've learned. Say, for instance, love. My ability to love myself and love someone else and allow someone else to love me is built on a pile of failure and bad decisions and selfish behavior that I have researched by thinking, why haven't I found love yet? And so you look back at all the terrible decisions you've made and start trying to make sense of it and putting words to the things that you've done to your life. And that's how it works. It's sort of like journalism of the soul. I made that up, but that sounds so cheesy. Don't encourage that. That's just terrible. That's totally cheesy. So I have a couple for instances, and I'm going to hold my safety net here just because I'm a little nervous. Can you tell? Oh, you're so kind. So when I look at the idea of love, what in the world does that mean? If there's anything that's just like indescribable, people have been trying to do it for as long as there's been people, putting it to music and to poetry and to books, and we're still writing about it. So we're still trying to figure it out. And myself, I had to really sit back and look through all the relationships that I've ever had to find out what is love. Like, is it the thing that you can buy on a Hallmark card? Is it in a Christina Aguilera song? Is it, like, what is it? What do I qualify as love? And we often turn to the poets to help us with that, which segues into this. Want to know what I hate? Want to know what I hate? What? Poets. Want to know why? Erotic poetry. Because most of the happy horse shit being passed off as erotic poetry these days is nothing more than lists of body parts and what they intend to do with them, interspersed with endless repetitions of the word love, 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 as if that actually meant something. That's not sexy, that's lazy. If you can't write a love poem without using the word love, you're not a poet, you're a greeting card salesman. Well, I'm here to take I love you back. So when I say it, it won't be some vague erotic notion. No, when I say I love you, I mean as long as I'm around, you will always have someone to pick you up from the airport. That is sexy. And you will always have someone to help you carry your heavy-ass couch up 3 flights of narrow apartment complex stairs, and you'll always have someone to hold your hair back from your face as you regurgitate margaritas into the bathtub. And I know it's the bathtub and not the toilet because you think sticking your face in a toilet is nasty. And I know this, not because I love you and the information is seeped into my brain through love osmosis. No, it's because I pay attention. You know what love is? I will tell you what love is. I will go to the corner store at 3 a.m. on my bicycle in the rain to buy you tampons. And I will remember to buy the pint of Chunky Monkey you didn't even ask for because I know you like ice cream when your cramps are bad. And I know this because I've got your back. And by that, I mean the little oval of flesh between your shoulder blades you can never reach when it itches really bad. I freaking got that. When I want you to know I love you, I'm not going to waste money on flowers. Oh, look, honey, here's something beautiful you can watch die. No. I'm going to sneak over to your apartment while you're at school and clean your kitchen. That is sexy. And I won't allow our arguments to become fights because I will spend more time listening than simply waiting for my turn to talk. More time giving you the benefit of the doubt than picking at old wounds to score points. More time learning from my mistakes than simply apologizing for them. It's easy to love you when we are so beautiful. But I will love you even when things get really freaking ugly. I will love you even when I freaking hate you. And should the time come where it's time to move on, I will let go. And when you introduce me to your new boyfriend, I will tell you, he seems like a nice guy, and I'm happy for you. Even though your name is tattooed to the center of my chest. So no matter how hard somebody else presses their body against mine, you will always be closer to my heart. And I mean that metaphorically, because I'm not getting a fucking tattoo. When I say I love you, I mean it. So, drum roll, please. If you ever have a chance to do that, just do it. It's just so cool. Everybody do this. Everybody do this. Burp, Charlie, burp. Grandpa Joe. Oh. Willy Wonka. Okay, anyway. And scene. Okay, so love brings up sex. And the two are completely separate or different and easy to be confused with each other, but it's best when they're just the same thing. And that's something that took me a long time to learn. Lots of mistakes. I spent so much time looking for the one instead of learning how to become the one. And there were many ones that I thought I met, but I just wasn't there yet. So you go back through your history to find out what's going on so you can rethink what the hell is going on and then move forward. And that is what this next piece is about. It's me picturing what sort of advice do I have to give to someone about sex. It's called How to Make Love. If I had a son and he came to me as a young man for advice about sex, this is probably what I would tell him. 1, buy condoms. Buy them and keep them with you at all times and use them before you are asked to use them, and use them every time. The peace of mind you allow your partner will free her to be vulnerable with you, and that, my son, is exactly what sex is about. Condoms are sexy. In fact, call buying condoms foreplay. Footnote, if you were too embarrassed to buy condoms, you were not ready to have sex. 2, kissing is not merely foreplay. Spend entire evenings making out on the couch while fully clothed. Believe me, dry humping rocks. 3, sex is not just about friction. It's about emotion. Don't worry about trying to find her clitoris. Find her heart. Then she'll help you find her clitoris. 4, if you really want to know how to please a woman, ask her how she masturbates. Then do that. A lot. If she claims she doesn't masturbate, offer to take her shopping for a vibrator so you can both learn the vocabulary of your bodies together. 5, don't put anything in her butthole you wouldn't want in your own. Footnote, try a pinky finger. It's actually kind of awesome. Don't act like you don't know about the pinky finger. 6. It only gets better. 6. When you go down on her, and you will go down on her, and if you are my son, you will be amazing at it. Tell her how good she tastes. Stop in the middle and kiss her deeply so she knows how good she tastes. And do the same when she goes down on you. 7. A simple Google search yields 1,347 euphemisms for male masturbation, yet only 23 for female masturbation. If guys spent less time jacking off and more time jilling off, the world would be a happier place. 8. Everything you need to know about the importance of the clitoris is in the movie Star Wars. Your partner's body is the Death Star, and you are Luke Skywalker, piloting your penis-shaped X-Wing fighter deep inside her trench. Remember, 70% of all Death Stars cannot be blown up through penetration of the trench alone. It must be through focused contact with that little exhaust port at the top of the trench. Otherwise, any explosions you experience will be merely Hollywood special effects. Number 9. Just because you've come doesn't mean she has, so don't you dare come before her. Concentrate on pleasing your partner. Don't worry about getting yours. You're a guy. You always get yours. Your job is to make sure she's getting hers. 10. If sex with your partner lasts no longer than this poem, you are not making love. You are masturbating with her body instead of your hand. Shame on you. Go back to step 1. You've got a lot of learning to do. Love, Dad. Woo! So many uncomfortable giggles throughout that whole place. He said vagina. Believe me, that poem was built on the back of a lot of really bad relationships that I finally have learned about. Also, I'm now writing if I had a daughter version of this, and if I had a transgendered son, if I had a gay son. There's only about 75 genders to go, so eventually I will cover all my bases, but it is a monumental task. I have just enough time to do one more. So I'll do that. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. I'm really freaking shy. The guy who was just talking about introverts, extroverts, I'm the introvert who is freaking the heck out. Was that you? You doll face. He was totally describing me, and I often find myself like, what the hell am I doing here? I'm so freaking freaked out right now. My mouth is so dry. Why did I agree to do this, right? But when I look back at the progression from shy kid to now, it kind of makes sense. And so that's what this one's about. It's called embouchure. Any musicians in the audience? An embouchure is a set of muscles you develop when you play, say, the trumpet. And the more you play, the stronger it gets, the better you get to play. Embouchure. I don't have childhood friends. We moved too much. 2 schools in 2 different states for 3rd grade, 3 for 4th grade, 2 for 5th. My dad was in the Navy. By the time he was discharged in my 6th grade year, this once gregarious boy had grown silent. When hormones hit, the predatory peacocks in gym class drew all the eyes of the girls who wanted to kiss them and the boys who wanted to be them, and the boys who wanted to kiss them and the girls who wanted to be them, and away from me and my bad posture and shabby college-level reading skills. While they grew closer, I grew inward, replacing their affections with books, records, and movies, things you can do alone. Who needs friends when you have the company of 13 axe-wielding dwarves and a gaunt wizard who drags you from your hobbit hole and pushes you toward adventure? In high school, The kids with friends party with Jim Beam and Jose Cuervo, but me, I kick back in my bedroom with Kurt Vonnegut, Richard Pryor, and Freddie Mercury. Instead of doing my homework, I pressed pencil points to temples and splattered suicidal thoughts across notebook pages. My dad grounded me for most of my junior year, and I just laughed at him, like I have some place to go. This pissed him off, so he confiscated all my books and records and tore down my Rush posters, causing a rift that remains unfilled to this day. Here is wisdom: you do not mess with a lonely kid's Rush posters. If there had been school shootings back then, pointed glances and whispered accusations would have shadowed me down the halls with every bold-faced headline. But this was 1983, not 2003. I was simply ignored, utterly. Just another weird kid with a backpack full of Conan books and a Crown Royal bag full of 20-sided dice. No one is more surprised to find me on a stage in front of people with a microphone clenched in my fist than I am. It took a long time to unlock the chains that held me back, but poetry kissed me a key, Houdini beneath my tongue that set myself free to bellow down Jericho with the trumpet of my voice and nurture the connections I never had growing up. The shy kid, the lonely kid, he's still here, and he's reaching out to your fat kid, your pimply kid, your nerdy kid, your silent kid, and he's saying, if I can do it, you can do it. So let's do it. Let's hang out with Charles Bukowski and Henry Rollins. Forget the cool kids. We've got George Carlin and Langston Hughes. We've got Sylvia Plath and Jill Scott. We've got each other, and that's all we've ever needed. So let's slam our bedroom doors, crank some Rush on the stereo, and unleash our voices together. Thanks.